Hi, Martin Wright. A couple of quick questions. One on the targets, where you said you're very excited by 100% targets and the incremental ones are clearly quite dull. Is there a danger that the boring incremental stuff slightly gets sidelined as a result, or actually are most things amenable to 100% targets? And the other quick question, you talked a lot about job security, better jobs, et cetera, is one of the challenges which you're leaving to your successor the issue of automation and the implications that might have on jobs?
Yeah. Good questions. I think mostly you can frame targets in a more compelling way, which create clarity around them. And you should also, the things where you can't, I think you also have to acknowledge and really thank the people in the business. So it's where they're really meaningful. I mean, but mostly I think it's a framing question, and I think you can frame things in a much more compelling way. But it is about really, if people think in terms of what I'm doing, everybody's, I'm going to make the business 1% better, 1% different. People don't get generally excited about that stuff. You have to, I think, not just to do with sustainability, find more compelling ways to make it, this is the direction we're going. That's what success looks like. Yeah. Success isn't about 1% better improvement or less damage or whatever, forever. On the automation, it's fascinating to look at. I sort of delve fairly deep, and probably other people in the room have into that. When you've got highly divergent views, so one which is, this is different from all other technology rollouts, whereas all of the technology rollouts have disrupted. Every other phase of the Industrial Revolution has disrupted jobs, but there's been net job creation and economic growth. And that this is different, that there will be net job destruction. I've also seen extremely well thought through, well presented arguments that based on demographics, that we will have, that by 2030, Germany has 8 million people short. And things like this. So I don't know if we're at sort of, from a business point of view, I think our rate of job creation will not be as fast in the sort of areas that are very labour intensive. But I think there's also huge potential for eliminating the jobs that are most easily automated, I think are generally the lowest quality jobs as well. And there's an opportunity for people to have better skills and do other things. You could say LEDs were a job destroyer in IKEA. Which, as we put LEDs in stores, we had 570,000 halogen spotlights, more or less, in the business. And obviously halogens, anybody that's got halogen spotlights in their roof, they don't last very long, do they? No, they don't. They're always popping. If you've got lots of halogens, and so we had effectively in most stores 2 people whose job was to swap out light bulbs, which is probably not the best use of their time and the most satisfying thing. So if those people can meet customers instead of swapping light bulbs, that's a good thing. And I'm unsure actually of the automation case. I do think there is a need of all businesses to try and provide really strong professional development opportunities for people. And I look at my colleagues and I see people who are in real leadership roles in the business who've come out of school at 16 and are now skillful business leaders. So I see actually IKEA's been pretty good at providing people opportunity from sort of literally shop floor level through to senior management level growth opportunities. So that upskilling is really important because we will have the low quality jobs will be destroyed.
Okay, yeah, question over there.
I'm giving long answers, Axel. I can sense. I'll be shorter.
I was kind of curious. You talk about sustainability and growth as sort of, in a way, going hand in hand. I wondered whether you thought there are absolute limits to growth and whether from the 100% kind of principle, whether we actually need to, really reduce the amount of resource that we consume from the planet.
I mean, obviously there are limits to growth, and you can look at any of the work that's been done on whether it's on carbon or planetary boundaries, and we're pushing some of those limits right now. But I see, it's still an amazingly grossly inefficient world that we operate within. So if we were about to have 50 billion people on the planet, we'd be in desperate trouble. But I do actually think you take a 10 billion people world, and I think you can have a great quality of life for 10 billion people if we adequately prioritize it. So I think that's achievable. I think we'll have, in our lifetimes, I'm looking around the room. No, I'm on the older end of the spectrum in the room. So in my lifetime, definitely, I hope, we'll have ubiquitous, super clean energy. Hopefully we can, have everybody has access to clean, affordable energy. Everybody has access to clean, affordable water. Nobody goes to bed hungry at night. That people have a good roof over their heads and people have opportunity. And we can have, I think that can be done in a breathtakingly efficient way. But I do think some things, we have to solve the way we do them. I flew here today from the Netherlands. I didn't swim, didn't get the bus. And so the carbon of flying, we have to find a way of flying without carbon. I don't actually think it's an aspirational world if we say, no, we're all going to really, really, really shrink in what we do. We're not going to travel anywhere, and we're only going to eat what we grow in our own window boxes or something. But the businesses I've seen, the potential for reinvention is huge. So I think it's a solvable problem, but it needs the very best of people in business leading on it, and it does need a big push from government as well.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, Adam Woodhall from Ethical Performance. You're thinking about your succession, Steve. What advice would you give to your successor at IKEA? And also, as Daniel has just taken over from Jim, what would you offer to him as maybe a bit of a mentor?
An unsolicited mentor. I'll go for you first, Daniel. No, I think you need to be yourself and be authentic in what you do. So make the role your own. And yeah, obviously take advice from Jim as you go into it, but make the role your own, be authentic. And I think for my successor is, if something needs saying, if you have a feeling in your stomach that somebody should be saying something and it might be you should probably say it. And I think we probably have all found ourselves in situations where we don't, really. And come away afterwards saying, maybe I should have said that. You probably should have said that. I did have this conversation with my successor just over a week ago, actually, and said, I'd rather, especially if you're at a certain point, really be prepared to, you're giving yourself license if you say, I'd rather be fired for doing too much than ashamed of myself for doing too little. But it is about intent and positioning, and it doesn't mean you're going in to be a pain in the arse, because there's no point doing that. There's no point just going and being angry at people or something. It's completely stupid. You want to go and be you work really well with your colleagues, have brilliant strategies, have a fantastic team around you, lead with good ideas. You want to do all of that. But if around the difficult things that are required, then you have to be prepared to sort of dig in. And you have to be prepared to have conversations that are uncomfortable for people. Otherwise, then you fundamentally let everybody down, really. And so that was the advice. I did give him some other advice. It was much more specific. It was about, you've got great people in a team. Have people around you who know lots of stuff that you don't, who deliver spectacularly, and empower them to the max. And realize that if somebody's 26 and they've spent a month looking at something, they know a lot more about it than you, and you should listen to them. So so I did share some other advice, but that's more generic.
Anyone else? Yeah, question there. You got your hand up, yeah. Question at the back there, and then we'll come to you.
Hi, over here.
Yes, sorry.
Hello, Tom Gray, Fahrenheit 212. Really interested in how you talked about sustainability being a driver for innovation and imagining the future state of the business. And if we're on the subject of advice for whoever comes after you, where, in your experience, where are the best hunting grounds for squaring business growth and social impact, and how do you prioritize?
The best hunting grounds for squaring business growth and
social impact.
Social
and
impact.
Yeah. So you talked about trying to create this win-win where you can actually grow the business and grow the impact. How do you go about finding?
I think it's entirely depends on the business you're in, probably, in answer to that question. So, if I look at IKEA just as a company, then actually we picked some, raw material footprint was a biggie. hundreds of thousands of people working in the value chain was a biggie. Your co-workers, the energy footprint of the business, the ability to innovate products that help people save energy, waste and water. We did pick, it was interesting, we rolled out our 4th solar retail company recently, just last week. It was one of the things, I actually exited as CSO a few weeks ago, as IKEA colleagues in the room might say, but I exit IKEA properly in a few days' time. But I did say, oh, damn, I wish I was still CSO for the launch of solar in Poland, because Poland's obviously got lots of rooftops, more sun than the UK, and it's actually a very coal-based economy. So there's a potential to have a completely different offer to customers. So I think there's no easy answer to the innovation and impact opportunity.
Okay, yeah. We'll take 2 more questions. I'll take this one here, and I'll take one of these, sorry. Maybe both if they're really quick, and the answers are quicker.
Sorry.
So Robert Cohen, Verco Energy Consultants. What are the things that you think government can and should do?
I mean, government needs to not protect legacy sunset industries. Government needs to back the future that's in everybody's, wider society's interests. That's the first. Government should be prepared to pick winners. Everybody says level playing field, we don't want to pick. Government's always picked winners. Uses subsidies and everything else. Pick winners, but pick winners that create true value for society. And I think we need, fortunately, technology is coming through. Nearly done, Axel. Technology is coming through. If you just take climate as an issue, on the energy side, we can now see technology starting to win without subsidy, but that's taken a long time. We have a debt of gratitude to the German government for really giving the world solar, in a way, through long-term intervention. So I think government needs to say sustainability is fundamentally a government responsibility as well as wider society and business. And we will absolutely stimulate that future aggressively.
Let's take these 2 together quickly. Yeah. Have you got the mic?
Thank you, Steve. My name is Jasmine Hyman from Yale University. I'm just curious, when you talk about going all in and going for transformational change, and you also say that IKEA is an ideals-driven business. There's not that many IKEAs in the world. How do you go about encouraging transformation in the laggards, or not the laggards, but maybe the businesses that are a little bit less ambitious? Because we need more IKEAs in the world, but what advice would you give for convincing a company to get on board?
I think you'd have to take the entire talk that I gave, and that might be most of the advice. But I think it's really start to think about what does a big win for the business look like, and how do you take a meaningful step that will build confidence towards that. So you need deliver a win for the business that builds confidence. I think I've seen business leaders go from being climate skeptics to enthusiasts and driving change in their business when they've realized there's a path forward for them and that they can be one of the winners. So I think actually you can help people see what's the potential in the future, really, and that there's something that and that you have manageable steps to get there. Business people are focused on execution. They want, we need a plan. We're going to measure against it. We're going to deliver to the plan, and so you need to be able to sort of break it down into those steps for the laggards or the reluctants, let's call them.
Yeah. Final question there, and then if I've missed somebody, grab Steve on the way out. Sorry. Go
Hi,
ahead.
Georgie from Aberdeen Asset Management. Hopefully it's quite a good last question.
No pressure.
Hope you remember 100% of what you said tonight, but sustainability professionals, what would be the 5% we take away other than the 100% targets?
Be bold.
That's it. Good. That's a good, superb answer. Final question from me. What is next, Steve? I think it's been said that you've had a greater impact on IKEA than the founder. If they offered you the CEO job, would you take it? There's a lot of hesitation there.
Yeah, no, Peter, is the IKEA Group CEO, he's a good friend. He lives around the corner, and he's been a great boss.
Okay, you don't have to answer it.
So-
What is next?
Yeah. No, actually, to be honest, I'm really focused. I see so much opportunity in helping businesses grow. So I've been looking deep into the sustainable investment space. So I'm working on something on that right now, but it'll take me about 12 months to get there. And if you look at the, basically, capital is totally stuck in the 20th century at this point in time, and people are not looking at how do we create the businesses that our great-grandchildren will say, we're so glad that they created those businesses. Not, we're more into another gaming app or something like that. So I think there's a huge opportunity in that space. So I'm working with a small team to come up with a new company concept.
All right, watch this space. I think it was a superb follow-up to Christiana. So thank you very much indeed, Steve. Steve Howard, everybody.
Thanks, actually. Thank you.